India Today.
Let's go across to our national affairs editor Rahul Shrivastava joining us. And Rahul, because you've been tracking the campaign trails of all of these politicians, anyone who's covered the Aam Aadmi Party, and I did it from day one, so I know Vishwas and Kejriwal have been very close. And that is why many are making this claim as more viral, because they were close. But now that it has come 48 hours before elections, do you see this as a dent for Aam Aadmi Party, or as they are calling it, as just a political vendetta?
Pooja, there are two sides to the story, I will say. You see, first is the obvious side. The obvious side is that at a time when the election campaign is about has ended, it seems, at that time a charge that Chief Minister of a state was hand in glove, or perhaps had ambitions of becoming a Prime Minister of an independent state, country of Punjab, and him hobnobbing with the elements who are against the unity and integrity of India are damaging. And the BJP definitely is going ahead with his, Rahul Gandhi is attacking. That is the obvious side of the story. So if one looks at this side of the story, there is definitely some sense of damage electorally for Arvind Kejriwal. But Pooja, politics usually spins off in a direction at times in which people don't really see it going. I think that this could in fact help Arvind Kejriwal. Why I say help Arvind Kejriwal? Arvind Kejriwal did very well in the last time in the election in areas where there was a traditional Congress vote of Dalits and Hindus and others, taking away that, eating into that Congress vote. Now, there was one deficiency in Arvind Kejriwal's campaign, was having a Jat Sikh. Now, Jat Sikhs are virtually half of the population of Sikhs in Punjab. They're 20 to 25%. The Dalits, the SCs, are 32%. Now, in that scenario, Channi has an advantage. Congress has an advantage that he is the first Dalit SC Chief Minister of the state. If you go back in history, 1972, Zail Singh was the first non-Jat Sikh Chief Minister, and since 77, all of them, Akalis or Congress, have been Jat Sikhs. Mr. Kejriwal had a weakness among this vote bank of Jat Sikhs. He brought Mr. Maan to be his face, but is there an element in this, what has happened, that if you say that Arvind Kejriwal was backing certain elements who were more strident as far as the state of Khalistan or angry with the present dispensation, then what does this statement do? Actually, it endears Mr. Kejriwal to a segment of strident elements and voters in Punjab. So what does it do? It actually increases the traction for Arvind Kejriwal in a section of voters which were not traditionally his voters. So if you look at it from a different dimension, then actually it could well work better for Arvind Kejriwal in a fight where Arvind Kejriwal is said to be neck to neck with the Congress party, which is banking on a SC chief minister, which has lost the sympathy perhaps a bit after removing Captain Amrinder Singh, a Jat Sikh.
And,
so
do the Akalis likely fear that,
Congress,
what you are suggesting here?
Rahul,
I do have an added question here, which is, it's very interesting how the Bharatiya Janata Party is mainly leading the campaign of Vishwas, or of his claims against Aam Aadmi Party, because BJP in Punjab does not have a strong presence. The Congress, perhaps with Priyanka Gandhi and Rahul Gandhi, would want more of it to go against Aam Aadmi Party than BJP. How do you see the political dynamic here of how the BJP is also escalating this charge that is made by Vishwas?
See, Pooja, Punjab politics has gone topsy-turvy. The man who for the last 4.5 years was asking the votes for the Congress party, Amrinder Singh, is now asking for votes for the BJP. You have a situation in which Akalis, for whom the BJP used to ask for votes, is actually now against the BJP. In a very topsy-turvy atmosphere, the BJP, Congress was represented by a Jat Sikh, now it is projecting a SC Chief Minister. In that scenario, where does the BJP figure? I think that's another very interesting play in Punjab. The BJP has been looking for a fissure between the Sikhs and the Hindus in Punjab. Right since the agitation, the farm agitation was on, there was a play which the BJP was indulging in. Now, why is it doing that? The Sikhs are 57.6% in Punjab. The Hindus are 38.5%. Now, if there is a Hindu versus Sikh element and the BJP can actually polarize it or slightly on those lines, the BJP gets more Hindu votes, edging out others because it has an advantage as a Hindu party. So what the party is doing, it is basically going hammer and tongs against Arvind Kejriwal, who is trying to aspire to get the strident elements of Jat Sikh voters. To BJP is trying to polarize and looking into the idea of getting Hindu votes. I think the kind of multiple equations which are prevailing in Punjab, it's a pollster's nightmare.
Absolutely. And you know, while a lot of focus was on Uttar Pradesh, the turns and twists in Punjab are only adding to the situation and excitement. Thank you for now, Rahul, but I request you to stay on with me because Kamaljeet Sandhu has been in Punjab and she's been talking to all these netas. Kamaljeet, for you, how is this playing out there in Punjab, specifically at this point? How do you make of this reaction that has come? Because till now, Aam Aadmi Party and Arvind Kejriwal wanted to distance themselves, but they realized Prime Minister Modi, Priyanka Gandhi, Rahul Gandhi, all of them have started picking on it. And they then had to come forth with a defense first via Raghav Chadha, the co-in-charge of Aam Aadmi Party, then the party convener Arvind Kejriwal. What is happening on the ground? Is there a reflection of Vishwas' claim on the ground? Kamal.
Well, Pooja, you and I definitely know that this is sounding more like a deja vu of sorts.
Absolutely.
Because in 2017, a similar charge was made. At that point of time, Aam Aadmi Party was said to be making a sweep. But instead of getting maximum votes, they only managed to get 20 seats. Now in 2022, a similar charge has been leveled. Kumar Vishwas coming up with a statement just before Punjab polls. And now it's all the opposition parties who have ganged up and have been taking pot shots at Aam Aadmi Party. Now it is likely that they may pay a heavy price for this particular statement, even though Aam Aadmi Party is trying to distance itself, saying there is no Khalistani angle, these are political charges.
Yes.
There is nothing like a terrorist saying if this is true, then he is the most innocent terrorist of all. So clearly, charges and counter charges coming at a very crucial juncture in Punjab politics. But whether the Aam Aadmi Party bubble will burst with this, because remember, many of the surveys have put Aam Aadmi ahead of all other parties. In contention is also the Congress Party, who is now seriously levelling charges against Aam Aadmi Party chief. But clearly, on the ground, it does seem that the competition is between the Aam Aadmi Party
and of course with voters who are listening and watching, they will have to now decide. And Kamaljeet will be on the ground on 20th February as well to get us all the latest as Punjab goes for voting. Thank you.